Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. It's great to have Minister Alty with us here back home, as well as welcoming Minister Hodgson and Minister McKinnon. We also have Premier Main here, representatives from the government of Nunavut, Indigenous leaders, MLAs, mayors. It's quite the room we have here today, and it's great to see everyone. We're here today for important announcements about major projects. In March, the Prime Minister referred the NWT's 3 strategic infrastructure projects to the Major Projects Office. And I want to thank the Government of Canada and the Major Projects Office for their work with the GNWT and Indigenous governments over the past number of months. The work has brought greater focus and coordination to the projects that matter to the North and to Canada. That work has brought us here today. And with that, I'm pleased to invite the Honourable Minister McKinnon, Minister of Transportation, to begin the announcement, followed by his colleagues, and then a media Q&A. Thank you.
Podium's taken up by a lot of mics here. I'll do it this way. Masi Cho, Premier Simpson, and good to see you again, Premier Main. And it's great to be here in Yellowknife in this very august and frankly humbling place. And we're so delighted to be here, Tim and Rebecca and I, to make this very, very important announcement as we continue on the road to building our country strong. Bon matin à tous. Je prendrai une seconde pour souhaiter une bonne fête nationale à mes commettants dans ma circonscription de Gatineau et une bonne Saint-Jean pour tous les francophones qui célèbrent à travers le Canada. We are gathered here today to announce good news for Canada's North and for the country as a whole. We all know that the North is central to Canada's economic future, whether through its vast reserves of critical minerals or its strategic importance to our defense and security. The North has the resources, the potential, and of course, the people needed to succeed. The North has what it takes to thrive. Il y a un peu plus d'1 an, les Canadiens ont choisi un gouvernement déterminé à renforcer la souveraineté économique du Canada. Depuis, nous avons pris des mesures concrètes pour donner suite à cet engagement. Nous avons créé le Bureau des grands projets afin d'accélérer la réalisation de projets d'importance nationale qui renforceront notre économie et soutiendront notre croissance à long terme. Nous nous sommes engagés à réduire le fardeau administratif pour les entreprises qui souhaitent investir et construire au Canada. Et nous nous sommes également engagés à bâtir davantage en formant une main-d'œuvre qualifiée, en attirant des investissements et en diversifiant nos marchés afin d'assurer la prospérité du Canada à long terme. Et l'annonce d'aujourd'hui s'inscrit directement dans cette vision, celle de bâtir un Canada plus fort, plus souverain et mieux préparé pour les générations d'aujourd'hui et de demain. As Canada's Minister of Transport, I am proud to announce today that the Government of Canada is launching the process that could lead to 3 projects being listed as projects of national interest under the Building Canada Act. The first 2 projects, the Mackenzie Valley Highway and the Grays Bay Road and Port Project, are nation-building initiatives. They are about strengthening Arctic sovereignty, creating economic opportunity, and supporting the communities that call the North home. For the Mackenzie Valley Highway, Transport Canada has invested more than $100 million to support the first steps toward a transformative all-season transportation corridor connecting communities across the Northwest Territories. Progress is already underway. Early construction activities supporting the future highway include targeted resurfacing work on Highway 1, with relocation work on the Oscar Creek Bridge expected to begin later this winter. In addition, part of this investment provided by Transport Canada to the Government of the Northwest Territories will be used for planning, engineering, and community engagement activities. This funding supports ongoing project development, including bridge design and environmental assessment work taking place this summer. Once completed, the Mackenzie Valley Highway will improve connectivity, provide more reliable access to essential goods and services, help lower the cost of living, and create new opportunities for Indigenous and northern communities all along its route. And by reducing travel times and improving access to critical supplies, healthcare, and economic opportunities, this project will have a lasting impact on the quality of life of Northerners. Now, similarly, the Grays Bay Road and Port Project will help establish Canada's first overland connection to a deep water port on the Arctic Ocean. Transport Canada has committed more than $21 million toward planning, environmental assessments, and other pre-construction activities needed to advance the project. And once completed, this year-round transportation link will improve access to global markets, support responsible resource development, and strengthen the infrastructure needed to foster economic growth and prosperity across the North. And today, the Government of Canada is also referring a third project to the Major Projects Office, the Nuclear Waste Management Organization's Deep Geological Repository. Located in northwestern Ontario near Wabigoon Lake, Ojibwe Nation, and the township of Ignace, this project is designed to provide the safe long-term management of Canada's used nuclear fuel. L'inscription éventuelle de ces projets à titre de projets d'intérêt national en vertu de la loi visant à bâtir le Canada représente bien plus qu'une simple étape administrative. Elle offre une grande prévisibilité aux promoteurs grâce à un processus décisionnel unique, dès le départ, à des parcours réglementaires plus clairs et à des échéanciers plus prévisibles. Et cette prévisibilité contribue à réduire les risques, à attirer les investissements et à la réalisation d'infrastructures essentielles. Avant qu'une décision ne soit prise, des consultations auront lieu au cours des prochains mois avec les titulaires des droits autochtones, les gouvernements provinciaux et territoriaux, ainsi qu'avec les ministres fédéraux. So I want to be clear. These three projects reflect our determination to use every tool available to build the infrastructure Canada needs and to deliver major projects more efficiently. They also demonstrate something equally important: the strength of our partnerships with Indigenous governments, communities, and organizations. Their leadership, their knowledge, and their perspectives are essential to the success of these projects and to the future of this incredible part of our country. En fin de compte, investir dans les corridors commerciaux et de transport du Nord, c'est bien plus qu'une question d'infrastructure. C'est renforcer nos chaînes d'approvisionnement, créer des bons emplois, soutenir les communautés nordiques et affirmer la souveraineté du Canada dans l'Arctique pour les décennies à venir. This is a very, very proud day. Hopefully, we'll look back and say it is an historic day where we collectively decide to move forward on these essential projects. And I want to thank you all for your very, very warm Northern welcome. Thank you. Merci.
Next, I'd like to invite up Minister Hodgson, the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources Canada.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. C'est un plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui. As Minister McKinnon said today, we're marking a major milestone. For the first time, the Government of Canada is initiating the process to potentially list projects under the landmark Building Canada Act. For many Canadians outside government, and I know this because I was one of them just a year ago, that probably sounds like a lot of jargon. So let me tell you why it matters. We're at a pivotal moment. We're facing a global energy crisis. We're facing attacks on our sovereignty, a changing global economic reality, a difficult security environment, and major climate change. For a year now, your new government has faced all these challenges with a singular mission: build Canada strong for all. The word building is no accident, because whether it's a need to develop our energy and critical minerals, a need for trade diversification, a need for national security, or a need to get to net zero by 2050, to meet these goals, we're going to need to build big things again, both quickly and responsibly, in partnership with Indigenous peoples. The Building Canada Act and the Major Projects Office are making this possible. Since we passed the Act, including today's announcement, we have referred 16 projects and 7 transformative strategies to the MPO, representing a combined investment in this country of more than $138 billion. These major projects will create tens of thousands of well-paying jobs for Canadians. They build our energy, mining, and electricity and transportation sectors, and beyond that. And they demonstrate to the world Canada's ambition from coast to coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, so far the Prime Minister has broken ground at the Nouveau Graphite Mattamy mine in Quebec, which will be the largest graphite mine in the G7. The McIlvany Bay has produced its first copper concentrate in Saskatchewan, the first copper produced at a mine in Saskatchewan in over 2 decades. And the Silicium LNG project has secured Canada's first major long-term LNG offtake agreements with a European partner, Germany's CFE. These are not abstract ideas, and they are not coincidental. They are the results of the work of the Major Projects Office. They are the results of the partnerships between the federal government and provinces and territories and Indigenous peoples, and the buy-in of Canadians who know we need to do something different if we want to build a stronger, more prosperous, and more sovereign Canada. So today we take another step, advancing these projects under the Act to demonstrate exactly why this work matters. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization's Deep Geological Repository for used nuclear fuel is essential to Canada's nuclear future. It's a result of decades of research, deep partnership with the Wabigan Lake Ojibwe Nation, and Canada joining our peers like France, Switzerland, Finland, and Sweden in what is internationally recognized as the safest, most responsible approach to managing used nuclear fuel. Earlier this week, I announced Canada's first ever national nuclear energy strategy. That strategy makes it simple. If Canada is serious about expanding nuclear energy, we must also be serious about safe, responsible, long-term management of used nuclear fuel. That is what the Deep Geological Repository represents. It helps unlock the next generation of nuclear projects. It supports the continued safe operation of Canada's existing nuclear fleet, and it will create more than 1,500 jobs, including opportunities for Wabigan Lake Ojibwe Nation and the town of Indigenous and the surrounding region. It means that Canadians can be assured your federal government not only has a plan to grow our grid, but to ensure that the burden of that does not rest on the next generation of Canadians. We need to do our part. Here in the north, the Mackenzie Valley Highway and the Grays Bay Road and Port represent something just as important: connection. Connecting communities, connecting northern resources to Canadian and global supply chains, and connecting the enormous potential of the north to the prosperity of the whole country. These projects have been talked about for decades. Today we make good on a promise we made to Canadians. Less talking, more building. I'll end where I began. This is about building Canada strong for all. We will build in partnership with Indigenous peoples, respecting rights and treaties. We will build by maintaining world-class environmental standards so we can do things right the first time. And we will build by making clear to the world that Canada is willing and able to move major projects from possibility to reality. Today is not the end of this process. It's the beginning of consultations with Indigenous rights holders, territorial and provincial governments, the federal government departments and agencies, to make sure we proceed with a responsible Team Canada approach that meets the values and standards Canadians expect. But it's an important beginning. It says Canada is ready to build big things again. It says Canada is central. It says the North is central to Canada's future. And it says that when projects strengthen our sovereignty, grow our economy, support reconciliation, and secure our energy and resource future, your federal government is determined to move with purpose. So thank you very much, merci, and I look forward to the questions.
Next, I'd like to introduce the NWT's very own, the Honorable Rebecca Alty, Minister of Indigenous Crown Relations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Premier, Presidents, Mayors, MLAs, Chiefs, the West Kitikmeot Corporation, Indigenous Advisory Council members, and all residents. Thank you for joining us this morning. And thank you, of course, to Minister McKinnon, Minister Hodgson, for joining us today. If you ask any Northerner, they'll tell you that infrastructure is about more than roads and bridges. For many communities, it determines whether people are connected to or cut off from opportunities, jobs, and growth. It determines the delivery of essential services and whether or not people can realize their full potential. Infrastructure is the foundation of strong, resilient communities. And as the world turns its attention north, many Canadians are realizing something that we've always known to be true, that Northern infrastructure is essential to both defending Canada and growing the Canadian economy. That's what this announcement is about. We're launching the process to consider listing two major projects here in the north, the Mackenzie Valley Highway and the Grays Bay Road and Port, as projects of national interest under the Building Canada Act. This marks another major step forward in our government's plan to build, defend, and transform the North alongside the people who raise families, live, and work here. Early work is already underway. This summer, the Government of the Northwest Territories is advancing planning and engineering supported by a $65 million investment from Transport Canada's National Trades Corridors Fund. That work will include targeted highway resurfacing along the existing route, as well as bridge design and environmental assessment activities that are essential to moving this project forward in a responsible way. These projects are central to a broader vision for the North and for all of Canada. As the Prime Minister said when he was in Yellowknife earlier this year, as we connect our communities to each other, we also connect them to the world. That vision is beginning to take shape. The Mackenzie Valley Highway will connect communities that have waited generations for reliable year-round access. It will lower the cost of living, improve emergency response, create new economic opportunities, and unlock natural resources to power Canada's growth. In Nunavut, the Grays Bay Road and Port project will open a new gateway to the world through the Arctic Ocean, creating new trade routes, strengthening sovereignty, and connecting the North to global markets. But how we build is just as important as what we build. Our priority is clear: to move forward quickly, but we must do it in partnership with respect for rights and with lasting benefits for Indigenous communities. This is how we build trust. This is how we uphold our obligations, and this is how we move forward together. We're working in partnership with territorial and Indigenous governments to ensure that the benefits of these projects flow into communities and not past them. That means equity ownership, good jobs, skill development, and lasting prosperity. Distance has never limited the North's potential, but for too long, it has limited opportunity. Our government is determined to change that. Together, these projects are part of a larger effort to build up a region that has too often been overlooked, but has always been essential to Canada's identity and future. Our responsibility is to ensure that the future is shaped in true partnership with the Indigenous peoples who have called the North home since time immemorial. This is what real, tangible reconciliation looks like. And that's how we build a stronger North and a stronger Canada for all. So thank you, merci, and masicho.
So now we're going to have a media Q&A, and then after that, I will make some closing remarks. So I'd like to hand it over to our moderator to lead the discussion. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à tous. As Chris said, we're going to go to the Q&A portion of the announcement now. So we'll start with those in the room and then move to those that we have online. If you have a question in the room,
Hi guys.
We're
going to stop it here. Not going to go to questions and answers. We just wanted to hear the upfront stuff about how they're building stronger and the 3 big moves that they're already making. And it looks good. Looks like it's going to bring a lot of employment and build us up pretty strong. Hope you leave your comments and your thoughts in the chat, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.